day 10 of our 75-day LeetCode coding challenge. And today we are going to solve our next problem statement, move zeros. So let's jump start to the problem statement. Move zeros. Given an integer array nums, move all zeros to the end of it while maintaining the relative order of the non-zero elements. Note that you must do this in place without making a copy of the array. So for this input array 0, 1, 0, 3, 1, 2, basically we need to move 0 to the all the 0 at the last index and the non-zero element to the left side, and also we also need to maintain the order of the non-zero element. So for this, the non-zero element are 1, 3, 12, and the order is and the order is 1, 3, 12. 1 comes first and then 3 and then 12. So we need to move all these non-zero element to the left side, 1, 3, 12, and all the 0 to the left side. Correct? And for 0, ordering does not matter because they are all zeros. And similarly, 0 is 0. So let's take some 0, 1, 0. Then the ordering will be 1, 0, 0. Correct? And if you have 0, 0, 1, 0, then the ordering will be 1, 0, 0, and 0. So we can solve this problem statement using 2-pointer. What we can do, suppose for this problem statement only, 1, 0, 1, 0, 3 and 12. We can have 2-pointer I equal to 0 and j equal to 1. So j, you can say it is on the front side and I is on the back side. So j will always be on the front side. So first I pointing to the first location, j pointing to the second location, right? And we can say like if I is equal to 0, basically if first index is 0, right? Let's say if it's not equal to 0, if the I is pointing to non-zero element, then we do not need to do anything, right? Because I is pointing to the first position and j is pointing to the front position. And if I is non-zero element, we can say we do not need to do anything because we need to place all non-zero element on the left side. So we can say if it's non-zero element, do the increment. We do not want to do anything. But what if I is non-zero and j is 0? If I is 0 and j is non-zero, so j is on the right side and I is on the left side, then we know, right? Now swap it because we need to move the non-zero element to the left side. Swap I comma j, correct? And do the increment of jj plus every time, because j will always go on the right side for every iteration, but I will only remain on the left side and only do the swap function if I is a non-zero element. And whenever we encounter like j is a non-zero element and I is a 0 element, that let's swap it. And so we can do this activity and we will be able to solve this problem statement. So let's write the coding question so it will be more clear to you. We are saying let's create two pointer. One is I pointing to the first index and j pointing to the one index, right? J is greater than I. We are saying कि we are incrementing j or every iteration. So we are saying j length should always be less than the array length. Okay. Now we can only do the swap function if the I is a non-zero element and j is a 0 element, because j is going to the right side and I is on the left side. But we are saying if the left side element is not equal to 0, so non-zero element we do not need to do anything, right? So let's increment I plus plus. Remember, we need to maintain the insertion order. So at the left position, if we are encountering a non-zero element, let's not do anything. Similarly, if we have the condition that nums I is equal to 0, the left side element is 0, and the right side element is not non-zero, let's do the swap function, right? If j is pointing to the right side and I is on the left side, and if I is 0 and j non-zero, let's swap it. Int temp equal to nums I, the standard swap function, and nums I is equal to nums j, and again nums j equal to nums I. Correct? And at every iteration we are doing the increment of j. Correct? So this is the code we have written. Let's run some dry run for it. So suppose our array came as 0, 1, 0, 3 and 12. Now our I is pointing to 0, j is pointing to one location. This is true for first iteration. Is our nums I is equal to 0. So nums 0. What is our nums 0 value? It is 0. Right? So it is not equal to 0. Correct? So this condition is false. Now come here. If nums I is equal to 0, so our nums I value is 0. So let's write nums I value here only. Nums I value is 0. Right? If our nums I is 0 and our nums j value, j pointing to first index 1, right? So nums I is 1, and so our condition met, so we can say it is true. Let's write it like this. Nums I value is 0, nums j value is 1, and this condition goes to true. Now we do the standard swap function here. So our new element, our new array will be 1, 0, this array, right? We have swapped the first two position. These two positions we have swapped. So now our new array is 1, 0, 0, 3, 12. And we do the j plus plus increment, right? So our now our I is pointing, we hadn't done the I plus plus, so I is still pointing to the first location. I is equal to 0, but j is now pointing to the second location, right? I is at one position, and let's write here only, and our new array is something like that. It is where I is equal to 0, pointing to first location, j is pointing to 0 location. Now our next iteration happen, again it is true. For next position, if nums I is not equal to 0, what is our nums I 1, right? So now this condition is true. Now because it is not equal to 0, now it do I plus plus. For second condition it will be true, and now our I value is 1. Now our I value goes to 1. If nums I is equal to 0 and nums is not equal to 0, so what is our nums I? At first position it is 0, correct? And our nums j value is pointing to 0. So it is, so both are 0, right? So this condition will evaluate to false. Now j plus plus. So now our I will point to the first location and j will point to the third location, and no change in the array because we hadn't done the swap function. Now again we evaluate this condition, it comes at true. Is our nums I is not equal to 0, our I is pointing to the first location, right? Nums I, if our nums I is equal to 0 and our j is pointing and j not equal to 0, basically 0 and 3. Now it's again do the, now this condition become true and we again do the swap function. Now our new array will become this and this index get swapped. So let's swap it 0 and 3 and 0, correct? And we have done the j plus plus also. So j is now pointing to the fourth location, this one location, correct? But our I is pointing to the first location, this 3 1. Now again this condition evaluate and it again comes to true. Now our num size not equal to 0 because it's pointing to the third location. Sorry, we're pointing to the first location, that is 3. Basically in array, the position start with 0. So my mean I equal to 1 is the second position, 3. So again num size not equal to 0. Again we do the increment, the third time the condition will be true and I will get increment. So now it is pointing to the second index, correct? And nums I is equal to 0, num j not equal to 0. So yeah, our nums I is equal to 0, but our nums j is pointing to the last location 12, and that is a non-zero element. So again this condition get true. We do the swap function and now our this and this location gets swapped, 12 and 3, correct? I mean we do the increment of j, the j become 5. Now if we evaluate this condition, so now it is false, correct? And now our code is successfully dry run and we have the correct array. I didn't add the 0 here. Basically 12 and 0 gets swapped, right? So we are not so in the first case we are iterating the whole array, but in the average case we are not iterating over the whole array. We are just finding all the non-zero element and swapping it to the left location without breaking the ordering of the non-zero element, right? So let's run our code if it is working. So we had some compilation error. So let's delete all this part. See, run it. So our few test cases is not working. 0 1 0 goes to like this. Let's check if we have done something wrong. Num size not equal to 0. We are doing I plus plus. Num size not equal to 0 and j is non-zero element. Basically we are doing our swap function wrong, so we need to assign the temp variable. Now run it again. Yeah, our test case is working. Let's submit the solution. So our solution is also working. So thanks for joining the session. Let's meet tomorrow.